Today I'm documenting 3 different pictures, and they're all very similar. I'm using the Elle Studio November exclusive kit, and I've just pulled out a few of the kind of Christmassy looking tags in the kit. So these are the kind of small tags and the stamp. So this is what I'm working with today. I've chosen these 3 pictures because they're a great photos of my family, and they're all kind of funny. Kind of outtakes are a few of the first 2 of them. I really love this pattern, and I wanted to use that tag ever since I opened the kit. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the right side of the page, and it kind of grounds my photos to that right side. So I'm using the 'Tis the Season collection here. I've cut out a few strips of pattern paper, and on this big green strip here, I've used a scalloped edge border punch. It's a large one, and it creates these holes that will be places for me to put embellishment later on. So I'm just going to start layering these until I really like the position that I have them in. And everything's going to be pushed up along that right side of the page. I haven't used my border punches in a really long time, so it feels good to be using them now. And I really like using them when they're being layered like this. I think it gives it a fresh new look. Who here remembers a time where you couldn't make a layout without using a border punch? Because I just raised my hand. I used to use them all the time. I think it's important that when you're creating a layout with lots of strips of pattern paper, that you make sure that you use different kinds of patterns, like different scales of patterns and different sizes of your strips of paper, or else it just almost doesn't feel right. So you want to have some variety there. Because I have that big strip of teal, I'm going to put my family acrylic word on there because it gives it the most amount of contrast. It really stands out if I stick it there. I'm also going to add some pattern paper strips above my photos so that the photos are centered in the middle between all of these strips of paper. So I'm pulling out another 'Tis the Season paper. And this one is fun because it has lots of different patterns included. So you can use it as one sheet or you can cut it apart. And the dark green feels quite heavy to me. So a lot of times if I feel like something is holding too much weight on my page, I will just make it thinner or smaller. So I'm using the border punch to take off some of the width of that dark green piece. So next I'm going to trim down all of my strips of paper to make sure that they're the same length. Okay, now that everything's trimmed, I'm just going to go ahead and adhere everything down. And when I'm working with strips of pattern paper like this, I really want to make sure that the first one I stick down is really straight. So I went ahead and used my clear ruler to just measure from the top of the page to be sure it was really straight. I'm going to use dimensional adhesive on my photos just to make them stand out a bit from the page. And now to add the bottom paper strips. I want my teal strip to stay intact pretty much because I'm going to be putting my title on that teal strip, but I want it to have some texture. So I've gotten out my Martha Stewart fringe scissors and I'm just adding a little bit of fringe to the bottom. Super fast and easy to do. You just need to make sure that you're keeping the fringe quite even. Okay, so there's my general layout design. I'm going to go ahead and add this title here at the bottom. Using the Maya alphabet, it's the uppercase alphabet, and I really like that it's such a fun and playful font because it really adds that playful quality to the layout. So I'm just checking my colors here, making sure that that's all right, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp the word fun underneath family. I use Tombow liquid adhesive to adhere all of my acrylic pieces. So now it's time for embellishment. This piece of pattern paper is great for adding embellishment because all of those little circles can be punched out. And since I have 3 photos, I'm punching out 3 different circles. Trying to figure out where to stick them. I don't really like the regularity of keeping them in a straight line. So kind of offsetting them like that makes it more interesting to me. I'm also pulling out these little tags from the kit just to see what works on the layout. Next up, I've grabbed some acrylic hearts and stars. Just going to add some different texture to the layout. And I'm just sizing the layout up to see if there's anything else I need to add. But to me, it feels really well balanced. So I'm going to call this layout complete. Thanks so much for joining me today with this process video. If you have some holiday layouts that you still haven't completed, be sure to pick up the Elle Studio November 2016 exclusive kit to help you get those memories in your albums. If you'd like to see more process videos from me, please be sure to subscribe to my feed. And as always, happy creating!